Alright, so let's just finish up the discussion here with the D. We start 3-5 root on the D long pattern. It's the same string shape as the D short pattern. Okay, so we're going to start 3-5 root with the major triad. 3-5 root, like this. Okay, and that would be 3-5 root. That'd be first inversion. Since we don't have a doubled 2-note string, because D is just 3 out of 3-5 and root, D is just 3 because D string shape is 2, 3, 4, so it's just the 3 on the D string. We only add one inversion because we have that C string still there. Where is that C string in the D pattern? Where's that C string? We go D, A, E. Here's the C string. There's our double note string. It's going to add an inversion. Otherwise, if we're just going root to root and we don't want to follow the cages, if we start here, it's root 3-5, root 3-5, root 3-5, root 3-5. You see, it's the same thing. Exact repeat, just with a little change for the tuning warp. Whatever inversion you start. Okay, or the fifth. Now this one's fun. Well, there's one of them that goes to the open string. It's always a little sketchy when you're going to that open string if you're doing an arpeggio. But you kind of always write about it because it has to be. It's what it is. That's the thing about open strings. You don't really get to see the sleeve. You don't get to see that note you're playing. See, here's my sleeve. My sleeve, where these are the open string notes. They're actually behind the fret nut, but you don't play those unless you want to do music box. Anyway, so we're finishing up this topic here. So in the long pattern, say with the D box, it looks like the same thing here and here. So we start 3-5, add 1 to 5 root 3, start 3-5, add 2 to 5 root 3. Wait a minute. Why do we add? Okay, well, if we're starting 3-5 root, because remember, D leads into the long pattern, okay? We add 2 inversions, we're going to root. That's why. Because we're going to root. It's not because D has 2 strings. So we're going to end up, for D cage goes to what? The C cage again. So in the D cage, we're playing like if we just did like the diatonic. We're in the C cage now. And we're going to end on root 3-5. Okay, so that's the name of that tune. We just added 2 inversions there. That's kind of like, you know, just keeping it honest. But really, we're more interested in what happens on the short patterns, because in the long pattern here we just led into the next cage box, so it was really a short pattern situation anyway. You saw it was the same pattern as the C box short pattern up there. Ends in root 3-5, ends in root 3-5. With the minor, it says add 1 inversion. Okay, now remember, with the long patterns, it can get kind of difficult. All right, because you know we're looking at with root 3-6 to play the long pattern. All right, the shape of the box. Okay, in the D shape. Okay, the long pattern is just going to be root 3-6 from that G shape. So 3 on the D string. All right, and then we go D goes to what? D goes to the A string. We just play the 6 there. Okay, and then, but now we're in the long pattern. Okay, then we go up to the 4-5-6 of that long pattern. We're going to go to the, what did we start? 3, and then we went to 6, 4, 5, 6, let's see. Okay, let's just look at the chart for the D long pattern. If we're doing the root 3, 6, okay, which is the relative minor of the major D shape, here's your D shape, going into the next C shape over, okay, so here's your C shape, you know, root 5 root 3, 5 root 3, 6. If we're doing the minor in that pattern, it would be 3, 6 root, 3, 6 root, 3. So the ending inversion would be 6 root 3, which would be root. So we started 3, 6 root, and we ended in this. Now, did we go through a cycle of inversions? Yes, and we ended up in root. So we have to be careful. You have to be careful in what you choose to memorize, because really, I mean, it's just we added one inversion to get to root, but gosh, we went through a cycle of inversions there, didn't we? Okay, so the cycle of inversions, we went from 3, 6 root to 6 root 3 to root 3, 6 to 3, 6 root to 6 root 3, and that was it, 6 root 3. All right, so we started in 3, 6 root, which is second inversion, 3, 6 root, then we went to 6 root 3, sorry, that's minor, then we went to 6 root 3, then we went to 3, 6 root right there. Let's see, what happened to root 3, 6, yeah. And then we went 3, 6 root. I'm not playing very well all of a sudden. And then 6 root 3. Alright, so we started down here, and we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inversions. And we went around that little circle like, 1 2/3 turns. So be careful what you memorize. If you're going to memorize it, what you want to learn is the short patterns, because let's face it, those long patterns are just leading into the short patterns. So we'll kind of get back to this as we get into more playing of the triads, and the reason why I did this exercise is so that you can see that, sure, we go through the string shapes to form those familiar chord shapes, and we use the substitution to get the second and the third minors, okay? And that's a little tricky. And you want to know what inversion you might be ending up on, so you can look for familiar chords. For instance, the most familiar chord up on top is the D-shaped root. But do you know what the bottom chord is from that D-shaped root? Well, if you look at it, when you have end in root here in D shape, okay, so we have end in root here, for that D-shaped root, right, it's not, sorry, this familiar D shape that we end in here is second inversion. It's not root. What I meant was it's the root shape. It's the shape that we're in as the root shape. Okay, it's the second inversion. But what is the beginning? It says it starts in second inversion, 5 root 3. Okay, that D shape starts in 5 root 3 there. All right. My bad there. So it ends in second inversion. I'm just saying this is a familiar chord shape, your D chord shape. This is second inversion. Subtract one inversion from it, and you get first inversion. So D shape would start in first inversion, obviously 3, 5 root. So you didn't know that. How many people really know that? Okay, so that we're pretty much done with this chart for now, because we want to move on to the staff, and the staff is going to be really cool, and I'm going to explain to you a few things as best as I can.